Voyage.
This is John Quintrell. The following is based on my life, my true story. The parts of this story you would hope are fake are the parts that are real.
I didn't have time to think about the fact that Lieutenant Ritter knew I had tried to orchestrate his murder, because that was when the VC decided to come back for another pound of flesh. There's no scarier thing on Earth than the whistling sound a rocket makes as it's coming down in your direction. Every claymore failed to go off. The trip flares lay in the wire with pins inserted into their handles. The shape charge under the gas barrel lay silent, not responding to the activated igniter. The blasting cap had been removed. They were already here. The VC had a habit of one-upping themselves. Just when I thought something they did was the craziest thing they were willing to do, they topped it. I learned on this day that, unlike a military strategy designed to minimize casualties, the VC timed their attacks so their first wave of fighters reached the enemy at the same time as their rockets and mortars. Suicide, basically. You want to talk about commitment? I watched as a VC sapper threw himself onto the concertina wire and his buddies behind him ran over the top of his back.
Bangalore!
Bangalore torpedoes, sounds like a Navy thing, but they're actually explosive charges placed in tubes to clear obstacles, blasted huge holes in the concertina wire. VC with satchel charges came streaming in through the jagged openings.
North side! North side! North side!
The north side of the base was being hit with withering fire from 51 cal machine guns, shooting from hastily dug out fire pits.
Did we know they could do this?
Of course we did!
It's comforting to delude yourself into thinking you're superior to your enemy.
Shoot the wire!
Ritter knew if the hole in the wire wasn't plugged, there would be no stopping the VC. The guys fired directly into the wire. Several VC trying to crawl through the wire were cut in half at the waist. Half of their body would be dangling in the wire with their intestines hanging from it, the other half lying on the ground behind them. Things I had only seen in horror films. It's one thing to shoot a VC in a hedgerow, never knowing if you hit him or not, but we were seeing these boys eye to eye, watching them get chewed up right in front of us. That's a different thing.
Radio!
Yes, sir.
Get the Cobras to concentrate their fire just outside the wire.
Yes, sir.
You have to understand, many of our encounters with the VC were covert in nature. It was rare to face so many of the enemy at once, but the feeling of them had always been there. Walking on the ground, knowing you could be stepping over VC living in a tunnel below you at any time. It was like we were living on top of an anthill, and all the ants had come out at once, and now they were going to just sweep us away.
Cobra says the VC are too close to our position. Can't fire without hitting us.
Fucker! They won't have to worry about that in 20 minutes if we're all dead!
There was a flare ship circling around, dropping large illumination canisters. Dust and smoke from the artillery rounds hung close to the ground like a dense fog. Our ammo dump had been hit by a rocket, creating a huge fire. Water was spilling out of the water trailer where AK rounds had hit it. I couldn't see Doc amidst the chaos. I knew he'd be plenty busy caring for the wounded. His sanity always seemed like a stiff wind could blow it away after all he'd seen. I worried if we did survive, what this would do to him.
Do we retreat?
To where?
Well, shit, we can't just stay here. It's here or nowhere.
It was pure back-against-the-wall survival. They just kept coming.
Hold your position!
I could not have possibly imagined the things I'd see American servicemen do that night. I saw a CO and a major hiding from the battle, holding hands. This wasn't a situation where people thought they might die. We knew we were going to die. That does something to you. There's no time to make a big speech, no time to say something poetic to your buddy. You just keep fighting, and either you live or you die. I watched a lot of my fellow soldiers die that night, including some of the shell-shocked men we'd seen upon our arrival.
Back! Tell the Cobras to fire around the base perimeter! They got the illumination now to see what the hell they're firing at! Don't let them give you no bullshit either! It's either that or we're good and fucked!
Somehow, we held until the artillery started falling at the base perimeter. The VC formed up into small groups and looked for an exit. It ended. The battle lasted until 0500 hours. The dust and smoke in the base was so thick you could cut it with a bayonet. Everybody's lungs were burning, and some of the guys had drenched their towels with water and covered their heads. Yeah, it had ended. and it ended at a serious cost, to us and them. There were so many VC killed that their friends didn't try to recover their bodies. We found some of our guys we thought were dead covered by VC bodies. The CO who was hiding, he started crying hysterically and had to be medevaced out. It was the biggest gun battle of our lives. We'd killed over 40 VC. They'd killed plenty of us too. I noticed in a mental fog, some of my guys gathered around some bodies. I stepped over to them. "Who is it?"
John?
The ponchos atop their bodies. I knelt and lifted the upper part of the poncho on the first body I saw. Staring back at me was Doc. His skin was pale gray, and he had a blank expression on his face.
John.
I knelt and lifted the next poncho. Another familiar face. I lifted the next, and the next, and the next. Guys I knew, laughed with, fought with, lived with.
John, stop.
How many more?
Maybe Doc's found some peace now. He wanted out, now he's out.
Rich, how many more?
There's only 8 of us left in 2nd Platoon.
We wept. There is no way to describe the sadness and brokenness in our hearts. Doc didn't want to die. He wanted to go home, even if there was no one there waiting for him. He wanted it bad enough to shoot himself, and even that wasn't enough. Instead, he stayed, trapped, until finally someone else shot him. Who would remember him? All I knew is I would. I always would. I still do. But back then, all I could feel was anger and rage in my guts. There's no time to reflect, to try and process things in whatever a healthy way is. You have to just keep moving. There were so many bodies to deal with, ours and theirs. I approached one of the dead bodies of the VC. The back of his head was missing. One of his eyes was lying out on his cheek. For reasons unknown to me, I squatted next to the body and yelled,
"Hey, Popeye! If you ever go to sleep on guard again, I'll kill you!"
I then stood up and kicked the guy's head, causing one of his teeth to fall out on the ground. I picked the tooth up and put it in my pocket.
That was the awesomest thing I've ever seen.
He actually said that. It sounds insane to think about it now, but it happened. That's what he said when I did that.
John?
Yeah?
What in the hell are you doing?
Nothing. Souvenir. I don't know.
Souvenir? We thought Doc was fucking nuts for doing something like that. Are you kidding me? Souvenir?
Yeah, well, Doc's not here to do it.
What?
Nothing.
John, maybe you need to take a minute.
What'll change in a minute?
Hopefully, you will.
Just like Doc, I sent it back home. I later wrote my dad a letter and closed the tooth and told him I'd explain when I got there.
Hey, you're not okay. Sit things out for a few.
I'm fine.
I'm as pissed as anyone else, but you're not fine. You do some shit like that? Are you Catholic?
Not today. It was monstrous. I have no explanation for it. This war was causing me to do irrational, awful things. I thought I was a good man, but then I did a thing like that, as casually as you might check the mailbox. Maybe Ritter was right. Maybe I was 3 weeks away from being him.
What is this?
Merlin fingered baling wire wrapped around the thighs and biceps of one of the dead VC. Ritter, passing by doing an inventory of what was left of the base with Mac, weighed in.
It's there to be a tourniquet so they can keep fighting even if they get shot in the arms or legs. Now that is a fucking fighter.
We looked at him, and I honestly felt my hands flinch, like I might just throttle him right there. Maybe sensing the unhinged men in front of him, he softened.
But I guess you all did okay last night. Speaking of, who's wounded?
I got some shrapnel in my hand.
It occurred to me that it was miraculous the rest of us were alive. I'd call it a miracle from God, but I didn't feel worthy to think such a thing at the moment.
Everyone else?
Still as handsome as ever, sir.
Merlin?
Cuts and scrapes, sir.
Rich?
Good, sir.
John?
Quintrell, are you wounded? I know you're sick in the head. I'm asking you, are you physically wounded?
Nothing I can't walk off.
Then you all can help us tear down the base.
Tear it down?
Yep. We're going back to Trang Bang. Our position is not sustainable. Obviously. Unless you all want to stay another night and see if we can die together this time.
The base we just put our lives on the line to protect, it would soon be just a patch of earth. Teardown consisted of slicing a hole in every sandbag and emptying the dirt out. PCP metal roofing, metal fence posts, and rolls of concertina wire were to be stacked in a central location, in slings where a Chinook helicopter could come and pick them up. We watched as other soldiers were evacuated before us.
When we loading up, Lieutenant?
We're rear security.
Rear?
Don't worry. I'm not gonna ask you to spell it. Rearman's last. Sally.
I know what rear means.
Huh, I bet you do.
You believe this shit?
Before long, 2nd Platoon, all 8 of us, found ourselves standing alone in the middle of the torn-down base, wondering how long the choppers would take to get us out.
Do you ever wonder why?
Why what?
Why you're alive?
I try not to give it too much thought.
Feels arbitrary.
That's one way of looking at it.
What's the alternative?
God has a plan for us.
Do you believe that?
Some days I do.
How about today?
Today, I don't think God gives a shit. Him or anyone else.
What about yesterday?
Yesterday, I would say, look at all this beauty of creation, and it can't just be a cosmic accident. You want proof of God? Look around you. Yesterday, I might have said that.
If God is real and heaven is real and all that religious doctrine is real, what would your God think of how you got that VC tooth?
You saw that?
John, we all saw it.
I don't have an answer for you.
I'm not dismissing religion. If all of it is hooey, well, then we just fleshy things floating around the universe.
Maybe we are.
And this, what we're doing here in Vietnam, it's like a casino game. We'll keep rolling the dice, and eventually, we'll roll a bad turn.
If anything, we're due for one.
That's a fallacy.
How?
Well, with dice, I'm saying, dice rolls are statistically independent. A gambler might think a dice is due to roll a 6 because it didn't roll a 6 in a couple of turns. Every roll of the dice is equally likely or unlikely to roll a 6. In 1913, at the Monte Carlo Casino in Monaco, a ball in roulette fell in the black 26 times in a row. Gamblers lost millions of francs betting against black.
How do you know so much stuff, Merlin?
I like to read.
So what are you saying? We're just as likely to die or not die in any fight?
I guess so, yeah. But we know that, don't we? Before we're done here, men will die on their first mission, on their last, and anywhere in between. Maybe us, maybe not. But we're not due, unless you mean in a moral sense. But then that's up to you and your God, if he's up there.
My God. As I looked around me, I no longer saw the beauty of God's creation. No, I saw hell. Hell on earth. Maybe I was already dead. Maybe I died in the battle, and this was hell. Just another day in Vietnam. The hell wasn't dying in combat. It was surviving. Amidst my reverie, I happened to notice Big Sally had an odd look on his face.
You guys seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah. Lieutenant,
I see it.
shouldn't we do something about it?
Hues are inbound. Sit tight.
There was a compound to the south. It had been abandoned. But right as we stood there, totally vulnerable in an empty field, there were several VCs standing on the roof looking at us.
John, if those guys bring their buddies right now...
Can it, Sally?
Sally was right. They'd easily kill us. No amount of heroics or luck would stop it. We'd just be dead. And as awful as I felt, I knew from the bracing anxiety racing through my body that I didn't want to die.
There's 8 of us. We're alone. There's nothing to hide behind here. No cover. We tore it all down. There's nothing here.
The VC on the roof calmly slinked off the roof. I absently wondered if gazelles looked at tigers like we were looking at the VC right now.
Where are they going? Lieutenant, they're probably going to engage now, no? Shit. After all that last night. Man. Shit! God almighty, this is it, fellas. We're gonna die here, aren't we? Shit, we're gonna die!
Sally, shut the fuck up, or you won't have to worry about anything anymore.
But Lieutenant!
I'd say God help me, but we both know that wouldn't do any good. So I'll just say, if you don't cease your mealy-mouthed jabbering, Sally, I'll cut you tip to taint and tell him the VC did it. And none of your butt buddies here would do shit about it, because they just want to go home. And you're not worth not going home for. Don't speak, even to acknowledge you understand me. Just nod, you whimpering bitch.
Big Sally nodded.
Lieutenant, what is our strategy if they do engage?
Hueys are incoming.
Was this how it was all going to end? Standing here like a bunch of idiots waiting to get shot or blown up by the VC, no cover, naked as a jaybird? In a way, it almost felt appropriate to my experience that far in Vietnam. Merlin might not think we were due, but I did. The Hueys couldn't get there fast enough. 2 Hueys sat down in front of us and we scrambled to jump aboard. Just as we were taking off, 3 122mm artillery shells exploded right in the center of the torn-down base. They were shooting Russian-made D-7 towed artillery guns, a final kiss-off to us from Uncle Ho Chi Minh.
If they had those guns last night,
We wouldn't be here. I looked at Ritter, who stared out blankly into the sky. I wondered what thoughts were in his head. He knew I wanted him dead. We'd been so hard-pressed to simply survive the night, there was no space for anything else. But this thing between us, it wasn't over. And after what would happen next, I'd truly remember why.
Someone is Killing the Wolfhounds is a production of Voyage Media. The series is produced by Nat Mundell, Robert Midas, Minody Vaishnav, and Dan Benamor. Executive produced by John Quintrell. Story produced by Minody Vaishnav. Written and directed by Dan Benamor. Based on the novel My 365 Days with the Wolfhounds in Vietnam, 1968 to 1969, A Combat Veteran's Journey by John Quintrell. The novel is available on Amazon. A link is in the show notes. Edited, sound designed, and mixed by Nick Misiti. Original music by Derlis Gonzalez. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you're listening, and subscribe now for future episodes.